You can't know what you want if you don't know who you are.
Life is not linear as well, and if you keep on denying yourself, you're gonna burst.
You're gonna.
Sooner or later.
That is literally the wounded masculine energy that has been programming all of society, and yes, our women, to go out and think that their value is in the size of their tits.
We are not listening within and hanging out with ourselves and exploring ourselves, and I think that's so important.
In this world of all fakeness, look at you. You have the courage to be you. Wow, that's sexy.
Welcome to another podcast episode of the Coffee and Confidence podcast. My name is Nathalie Rajic. I'm an inner balance and confidence coach. I'm the hostess of this podcast. And I'm also the founder of Her Way, which is one of Sweden's most established platforms and destinations when it comes to self-development for women. Today's episode of the Coffee and Confidence podcast is a bonus episode that I've been really looking forward to share with you. When I heard that today's guests were visiting London to host a summit, the Her Way team and I went there to take the opportunity to sit down with Morel, the spiritual leader and the life coach, to talk about how to find balance between the feminine and the masculine energy, because that's what we have in common. Both of us are sharing the message of how you can step into the best version of yourself by balancing between these two energies. In this episode, we also talk about how to heal your father and mother wound in order to step into your divine feminine energy. And we also touch the subject of how to attract a healthy relationship and a partner that is aligned with you and your values and your self-worth, how to continue the self-development journey and trust the process. I really hope that you enjoy this episode as much as I did. If you like it, please subscribe, share with the world, because I really want to see you grow and glow. I'm so honored that you're sitting here with me. It feels
honored too.
It feels really cool.
Yeah.
And you are here in London because you're preparing for a wedding.
Where my event Awaken is this week, but then we're gonna fly to Italy and prepare for wedding.
Wow.
So.
And I've been checking in the Awaken event. It feels like you're guiding people into being more aware of themselves, healing themselves during these journeys. Can you tell a little bit more about the event?
Yeah, so I think that there are 3 core wounds that we deal with as human beings that drastically impact our lives and our life trajectory. And the first 2 happen from the moment we're born, and this is the mother and father wound. And, what we as human beings don't realize is that when we are looking up, when we are defenseless, when we are 100% dependent on our caretakers to protect us and provide for us, we literally see, the mother as the feminine energy of God and the father as the masculine energy of God, right? And so all we know, we don't care what our parents think. We don't care what our parents want. We just understand when we're little babies, their vibration, their energy, the frequency that we feel from them. Yeah. And so what happens is that when we're little children and we're little babies, if the frequency that our parents are not living in is one of peace, one of love, one of unity, then that sends us a signal that this world is not safe, that this life is not safe, that this life is supposed to be struggle, because we feel their struggle. And so therefore we interpret that life here on earth is meant to be struggle. Now watch this. What do you think happens? For the rest of our life, we go out and we attract, look for, and create a life that is a life of struggle. And that's how deep it is. So we find careers that lead us into struggle financially, lead us into struggles emotionally. We find relationships and partners that lead us into struggle emotionally, lead us into struggle and conflict. And then as a result of those two, our health, sometimes our health is impacted, and our health can be, a journey of struggle as well. And my message to human beings is that we don't need to be in struggle in anything because we are the creators of our life. We just got to go back and heal some of those things that we dealt with. And so that's what Awaken deals with. Awaken deals with the mother and father wound. But then also the third wound is the wound of the body. The wound a lot of women deal with, quite frankly, is a sexual wound. Any sexual trauma that has been experienced, we deal with, those three wounds. And what happens at Awaken is really magical. Mm-hmm. It's a process of self-actualization. It's a process of returning to the little boy or the little girl and finding out who you really are. Yeah. So then you can live life from that energy. It's really powerful.
This podcast is called Coffee and Confidence. So where did you get that power or that feeling, encouragement or confidence to actually ask yourself these hard questions?
Man, that's a good question. Where did I get that confidence? Where I got it? I got it by realizing that everything I wanted in life, once I finally had it, didn't make me happy.
Yeah.
I finally had it. I had the big house. I was making a lot of money. I had the expensive clothes, the expensive jewelry. And when you get to that pinnacle, and you feel all alone and you feel empty inside, you start to realize something's wrong.
Yeah.
Right? And at that moment, it's either you're going to keep doing what you're doing, or you're going to stop and you're going to retreat and you're going to start to ask yourself some pretty deep questions, like, what is it that I'm really building all of this for?
Yeah.
Who am I honestly building all of this for? Yeah. Why do I need to work so much?
Yeah, and I think that people don't even ask themselves, like, why do I get out of bed in the morning? We just do it by routine, and then we follow the schedule, and, we don't ask ourselves these questions. And I think that a lot of us are feeling the resistance or that it's itching in the body, but we are too afraid to ask, like, what is causing this inner stress.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing is that at the time I found myself, my career was, I was a real estate broker. So I had 400 agents working for me. Yeah. We were selling a lot of houses. I found myself in a place where, if I'm honest, I didn't like the industry.
No.
I didn't like the energy of the industry. It was so competitive. It was so, at least where I was living.
Where were you?
Southern California.
Okay.
It was so, show off.
Yeah.
And by the way, I was the king.
Yeah.
I was the king of it all.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel nice to me.
No.
It didn't feel like you could trust anybody. It didn't feel like, so all of those things, quite frankly, like it led me all to say, like, what do you really want to do?
Yeah.
Do you want to sell houses for the rest of your life? Why? And that's where it all began.
Why do you think we get so attached by all these material stuff?
Yeah, because for two reasons. Number one, the 3D world tells us, and is constantly reminding us, and is constantly like feeding us with this notion that we need something outside of us. So it's not just material items. Like, we're here in London right now. I don't think you can walk by a coffee shop, for example, without somebody with a vape, a phone, and the coffee.
Getting
You
distracted.
know what I'm saying? Like, if you really think about it, like, we think it's so normal, right? Like, nothing wrong with having a cup of coffee. Nothing wrong with being on your phone. I think there's a lot wrong with vaping, but I'm just going to leave that one out there. But, like, think about it. If you're doing all three, like, just think of that message that you are sending to yourself. I need this, and I need this.
At the same time.
In order to just be. And the reality is that you, I, and our ancestors never needed anything.
No.
Anything. We didn't even need clothes. No. We were walking around butt naked before there were buildings, before there were any of this, in nature, together, in harmony with each other.
Yeah.
And that's where we are today. Where we are today is we are so disconnected from ourselves that we think we need all of these things. And to be honest, that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
I remember my first ayahuasca ceremony. I went and I saw this guy. He was there, and his name was Pablo, and he had a long beard and long hair, and all he was walking around was with a tank top and shorts. And I looked at him, and I'm showing up in my Gucci sunglasses and my Louis Vuitton bag, and my chest is look at me, right? Before I had done obviously.
Yeah.
But I remember looking at that guy, and I remember thinking, I don't know what that guy has, but that's what I want. And you know what he had? He had peace. He didn't need. You understand? And people ask me all the time, like, why do you wear black? Why do you wear? And people are so silly.
Yeah.
God bless them, because they think it's because it's evil, or it's because.
Like,
no, it's because it's simple. It's simple. I don't have to think about it.
Yeah, and you don't spend any time.
No, I don't spend any clothes. No, when I pack to travel, it's like you grab like the black t-shirts and the black pants and the black shorts and the black underwear and the black socks, and that's it. You don't have to think. Yeah.
You live your life.
Sure.
You spend your time well.
Yeah, but listen, the old me. Oh my God, I needed the brand new kanali tie.
Yeah.
And I needed the brand new custom suit, and I needed one in every color. You get to a point where you find stillness inside of yourself. You don't need anything anymore.
Yeah, I often get like that. I just want to move to like a deserted island sometimes and, just surf or something.
Yeah.
Getting rid of all these stuff around us, because it's so hard, I think, as a human, living also in this 3D world where you have all these things around you, of not getting annoyed of it. How do you practice that?
See, this is where life mastery truly comes in for the entrepreneur. Because when you truly master life and the energy of life as an entrepreneur, you can have it all.
Yeah.
You can be an entrepreneur. You can build a business. You can build a business that is so powerful that income flows to you without you needing to work too much.
Yeah.
You could literally build a business that generates millions of dollars for you annually, but you're only working 10 to 20 hours a week to do it.
Yeah.
When I built my real estate business, we were doing $1 billion in sales, 40 million a year in revenue, and I was working 2 hours a week in it.
Oh.
That's it. That's all I invested in it.
Yeah.
But the message that the world is sending entrepreneurs is the opposite. You have to grind. You have to work hard. You have to hustle. Really? At what cost?
Yeah.
At the cost of your health, at the cost of your family, at the cost of you being able to sit in peace with yourself. If you can't sit in peace with yourself, you can't sit in peace with your children. So what message are you sending to your children? And how disconnected are your children going to be as they are growing up and being raised? Which, by the way, when you awaken spiritually, you realize that's your most important mission on earth, is to take care of these kids.
It is. It's such a beautiful message. I felt like when I had my son, being in a former transformational, like abusive relationship, felt like when I got Mateo, it was like, okay, he's here to teach me how to be present, but also how to raise a guy being so close to his feelings, because I'm thinking that we're going into the father and the mother wound soon, but I was myself carrying a lot of father wounds because he was not present for me. He was there, but he wasn't. So I took that attention I wanted to have and put that attention into my ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Because he, in a sense, gave me everything that I was lacking, but then he was also a copy of my father, abusive and controlling and stuff like that. So when I got Mateo, I was like, okay, it's my mission to give you a childhood where you're feeling everything you're feeling, just being yourself.
Yeah, where it's safe to be.
Yeah, exactly. And expressing yourself, because I often feel like I see now, get back to my journey, that where does all these wounds come from? It's because we are not safe when we're children.
That's it. That's where it all boils down to. It all boils down to how we felt as little boys or little girls.
Yeah.
And I'm learning it and seeing it more and more because, I had 3 boys. And then
How old are they now?
16, 14, and 8. Okay. Yeah. And then I had my awakening.
Yeah.
And then I had my girl.
Yeah. Just
It is
previously.
completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different. The things that I did as a father before I awakened, the way that I disciplined, the way, I mean, it is like night and day. Like all I know now to give is love. That's it. Where if I'm honest, I didn't even know what love was back then, So how could you give what you do not have for yourself?
Yeah.
And then it's really beautiful because she teaches me how to be more loving. And all I think about is my boys. And I want to be more loving to them. And then I am going to be honest, like there's regrets. I don't like to have too many regrets. The only regrets I have in this life is who I wasn't as a father before my awakening.
Okay.
But then I understand that I can let go of those regrets because that's their life's path.
Yeah.
So in other words, I was the perfect father that I needed to be for them to go on the journey that they needed to go on, the same way that my father was the perfect father for me that I needed to become the man that I am today.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't hold on to things. You let them go because you realize that everything is perfect.
It's so powerful to come to that conclusion because when I made that transformational journey 15 years ago, when I made peace with my father and said, thank you for giving me all the pain, that was when I was able to leave my ex-boyfriend.
That's right.
Yeah, and start that kind of healing journey.
That's right.
With both my father and mother.
That's right. Because you had to heal and then deal with the father wound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so powerful.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about the mother wound and father wound. How does it show up in life? Is it the same or is it separate?
It shows up in so many different ways. We'll start with the father wound. The father wound is the masculine. It's the mind.
Yeah.
So think about how many different ways in life your mind could essentially give you positive results or negative results. I'll give you an example. You have a desire to start a business. And you have a desire to start a business, and right away your mind tells you, how are you going to do it? But look at everything stopping me. But where are you going to find the money? But are people even going to like you? Is there even customers out there for you? Right? What if you lose it all? You see, what has happened is that there is a father wound. There is a wound in your mind where we all have these thoughts.
Yeah.
But for you, because you were disconnected from the energy and the guidance and the love and the approval, right? And the praise of your father, those thoughts, they stop you.
Yeah.
They stop you in your tracks.
Not taking action.
And you don't take action because action is the masculine.
Yeah.
Right? So this is where so many human beings get stuck and they wonder why. Go back to the messages you received when you were a little boy or girl. Because I can guarantee you, if you're stuck, I guarantee you, your mother and father were not telling you things like, you can be anything.
Yeah.
You could do it. You are unstoppable. You are the creator of your life. There are no barriers. You're the one, right? Imagine if your dad talked to you like that. You'd be walking around like,
oh man,
shit, I can do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? And so that's how, that's one example for the father wound. The mother wound is different because the mother wound has to deal with your heart.
Yeah.
Mind, masculine, father. Heart, emotion, love, mother, right? So it has to do with your ability to receive and give love. And this is very, very important. So for example, if you have a deep disconnection with your heart and with the energy of love, then you will unknowingly, your entire life until you heal this wound, attract the perfect partners that will always show you they will always show you essentially how unloving life can be.
Yeah.
They will always show you that you're not enough. They will always show you that you are not capable of receiving love. And you wonder why. You wonder, why do I always attract men that are emotionally unavailable?
Right.
It's because you're emotionally unavailable.
Yeah.
To receive real love, to receive real authentic love, to be seen for who you are. Not for how you look, ladies, by the way.
No.
Because that's what the world has told you. The world has told you that you receive love based off of how you look.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
And behave both.
And behave. And accomplish. That's the masculine. That is literally the wounded masculine energy that has been programming all of society, and yes, our women, to go out and think that their value is in the size of their tits.
And that's
or their ass, or how small their waist is, or how big their lips are.
Yeah.
Where's your value? Your value as a human being is inside.
Yeah.
Inside.
Yeah.
So I say this with love, but when I see a woman who is, you know what I see?
It's a conversation.
Deep wounding. Deep wounding. And I see that little girl that was not loved, that was not seen by her mother and father. And I see her and I see past that. And I can't wait. For me, I can't wait till she shows up at Awaken, to be honest, because I can't wait till she meets herself. And I can't wait till she realizes she no longer needs all of that.
No, she's already got everything.
She's already has everything inside.
Yeah, really powerful.
Yeah.
And I think that,
Which, by the way, let's talk.
Yeah.
Right? So if you in your mind, as a woman, think that your value is on the outside.
Yeah.
Let's break this down for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? So what are you going to do? Right? You're going to, maybe you're in the gym all the time.
Yeah.
Which is a very healthy thing. But if you're doing it from unhealthy energy.
Yeah. Or desire.
Then what you're really doing is hurting yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Maybe you're going and doing the lips thing. Okay, look, go knock yourself out.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this question.
Like,
what is wrong with your lips that God gave you? Why? Why do you need to do that? Right? Maybe you're doing the Instagram thing. Look at me, right? Right? And so now watch this. Watch. What are you going to attract?
Yeah.
What kind of a man are you going to attract as a woman if all of your value is on the outside and the message that you are sharing with the world is, world, look at me and value me for my outside? What kind of a man are you going to attract? I'll tell you what kind of man. The man that wants you only for your outside. So that man, the minute he gets you, conquers you, sleeps with you, guess what?
Get bored.
He's done. Because the masculine wants to conquer. He's visual. The man is the eyes. So he sees and he wants to go get.
Yeah.
And you are showing him that you want to be gotten based off of your outside. So guess what's going to keep happening? Over and over again. You're going to keep getting your heart broken because you unknowingly are disconnected from your heart. Your heart doesn't want to be valued by your outside.
No.
Your heart wants to be valued for who you are, regardless of how you look.
Yeah.
Because when you get old, when everything starts dragging around, right?
Change. Yeah,
Your hair gets gray, which by the way, this is why we don't have women who actually like age gracefully anymore. You know how beautiful it is to see a woman with gray hair
That lives, yeah.
that is living confidently, saying, you know what she's telling the world? Fuck you. That's what she's telling the world. I'm not going to change my hair because you tell me that I don't look beautiful in my gray hair. No, I look beautiful in my gray hair, in my whatever hair, because I'm beautiful regardless of what you think of me. That's power.
Yeah,
That's power.
it truly is.
But what kind of a man will that woman attract?
Yeah.
A powerful man.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm telling you? That loves her for who she is. A man that sees that gray hair and go, wait a minute. In this world of all fakeness, look at you. You have the courage to be you. Wow. That's sexy.
Right. And I really hope that it gets to all the women that are listening to this, because I think that's so important to just, we're hiding behind all these like bags, makeup, hair, professional things as well. Being the good girl equals being too much in your masculine, because you need to behave and perform. Yeah. And that takes away all the beautiful softness and being in this, I call it like sexy vibes sometimes, because I really truly believe it's powerful when you see that woman you describe with the gray hair or whatever, but when she's owning herself, she's the kind of woman that everyone is going to be like, oh shit, what is she having that I don't have?
Because it's rare.
Yeah.
It's rare today.
Yeah.
Now let's flip it. Let's flip it to business now.
Yeah.
Do you know when my Instagram started growing?
Yeah.
I want all of you. Just do this. Scroll down all the way to the bottom of my Instagram. And here's what you'll see. You'll see a man who was desperate for your attention. You'll see a man who was desperate for you to validate him because of his car, because of his clothes. You'll see a man because of his watch. You'll see a man who was desperate for you to like him because of how he looked on the outside.
Yeah.
I only can tell you this because I lived it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And you know what? And I tried everything. And no one would resonate with my message. Why? Because my message was fucking ego. That's why.
Yeah.
No one cares about you or how you look.
Yeah.
They care about how you can help them.
How do you make them feel?
That's right. So you know when my Instagram literally shot through the roof without effort? When I started to be my authentic self. Because the world sees that and they feel that.
Yeah.
They feel like, whoa, there's something there. Like, you know, and the world can feel, I'm not doing this for fame. I'm not doing this for, right? I'm doing this to help heal people.
Yeah.
So the people that are ready to heal, they're like, shh, they're like honeys to bees. It's like, I want that because that's rare. It's the same thing in relationships. It's the same thing in careers. It's the same thing in money. It's the same thing in everything.
Yeah.
You are a magnet. You are the one that creates your life. You heal the inside, you heal the outside.
So you shared that you were in your previous marriage and your mother passed away and you did ayahuasca. How did the healing journey look after that? Like, how did you keep on showing up for yourself and trusting that? Because I think that you maybe had that inner voice telling you, like, keep on going. This is.
Can I tell you? Yeah, this is gonna get. Yeah, this is where it gets a little interesting because what happened, what actually drove me to do ayahuasca.
Yeah.
You have to understand when your whole life is based off of what other people think of you, you portray an image.
Yeah.
Which is fake. An image of, in my case, we all do different images. You do the nice guy image. It's a mask.
Yep.
The nice guy mask, the martyr mask, the funny mask. It's all a mask. My mask was like, I wanted to appease to people based off of my success, my power, the things that I had, and how good of a boy I was.
Yeah.
I was a good boy, right? So what did that look like? That looked like I was a good boy and I got married.
Yeah.
Because the church told me that you can't have sex before you're married. Listen to this. So when the church tells you that you can't have sex before you're married, like a lot of people listen to that and it goes, whoop. Me, I actually listened.
Okay.
I was like, I wasn't perfect. I was like, oh my God, I gotta get married. So what did I do? I went out and I got married.
Yeah, and you searched.
Yeah, I searched. But was I in love? No.
Yeah, well.
Because I got married for the wrong reasons. So literally on the day of my wedding, and whenever I share this, people listen to this and they're like, oh my God, that was me. Because a lot of us live this truth.
They don't dare to ask themselves.
Exactly. On the day of my wedding, I can tell you right now, I was not in love.
You were sweaty.
I was not in love. As a matter of fact, like I remember in those wedding pictures, I was this big because I was eating so much because my emotions were obviously trying to tell me something.
Okay.
I just wasn't courageous enough to listen. And so then what happened? What happened is that for 13 years,
Yeah.
I was living in something. I was creating children. I was creating a business where deep inside I wasn't in love. And we didn't fight a lot. We didn't, because I was a good person. She was a good person, And worse, she's a fighter.
Really?
But yeah, she was one of those people that like, when confrontations happen, she didn't like taking responsibility for her part. So what happened to me is in order to avoid confrontation, I would just stay quiet.
Please.
And I'd please because I was a good boy. Right?
Yeah.
So now watch. As a man, if you're a man out there listening, you better deal with that shit right now. Because it's going to show up in your life at some point in time.
Yeah.
At some point in time, if you as a man have been hiding your truth to be the good boy, to do what society tells you, to do what you think everyone wants you to do, trust me, at one point in time, that animal inside of you, that masculine inside of you, that you have been bottling down your whole life, he's going to rear his ugly head and watch out because that dude is going to create chaos.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me when I had my affair. Is because inside my whole marriage, I was never happy. I was never in love. But that didn't matter. I wanted to be a good boy and do what the church told me to do and do what society told me to do. Year after year after year after year after year of not listening to that man who wanted to go out, who wanted to find love.
Yeah.
Guess what happens? One day, boom.
Oh.
It just exploded.
Yeah.
It just exploded. And this is where I try to tell men, like I see men and I see them. They're not happy. They're not, they're not in their masculine. Like I wasn't, by the way. This is how I learned how to talk about all this stuff. I wasn't in my masculine.
Yeah.
And I see that the woman controls and I see that the woman, you could just see it. And I'm like, ladies, watch out. Because a couple years down the road, I'm telling you, his truth is going to step out. And next thing you know, this is how these things happen. So I went out and I had an affair.
Okay.
So now watch this. Now I'm in conflict. I'm in conflict because the good boy doesn't want to be doing this. I don't want to be doing this. Right?
Yeah.
But then there was a part of me that was like, you know what? Honest to God, finally, you're listening to yourself. Finally, you're honoring your truth. Even if your truth is bad.
Yeah.
Even if your truth is hurting your family. It's like, shit, man, it felt good.
Empowered.
It felt empowering to like finally honor my truth, And that's what led me to ayahuasca is because I got confused.
Yeah.
I was like, this is too much. On the one end, and hurting my family. On the other end, this finally honoring my truth. I don't know what God is anymore. I don't know what anything is anymore. I'm going nowhere fast.
Yeah.
That's what led me. I wanted answers.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, and I share it honestly because this is real world stuff.
It is. And
Real
I think
world
that,
stuff.
I mean, life is not linear as well. And if you keep on denying yourself, you're going to burst.
You're gonna.
Sooner or later.
You're gonna. By the way, I was numbing myself.
Yeah.
As a man, I was numbing myself with alcohol and pornography.
Yeah.
Because if your man is not in love, guess what? His animalistic instincts are to go out and to go find it somewhere, right? So in my secret life, I would show up to weddings and events, and I'd be looking at other women. Because I wasn't happy. I wasn't being truthful to myself.
Yeah.
And so, and like, that's why now, like, and I feel like this is why a lot of men are stuck in pornography.
Yeah.
Because they're disconnected from their truth. They're disconnected from their spiritual life. And so we help men with this, I have a lot of men that like no longer look at porn. They no longer drink. They no longer need anything.
No.
Because they found themselves.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what is happening? I get so curious now at an awaken event. Like people are truly tuning into themselves and like healing and find, or maybe start to ask those tough questions.
I can't explain what happens at awaken.
Yeah. You have to experience it.
You have to, because you learn once and for all universal truth about life, about yourself, about why you are the way you are, about why you think the way you think, about why you have the fears that you have.
Yeah.
And you go so deep backwards into your life, and you go to the point where all of the negativity, all of the fear, all of the doubt, all of the worry started, and you go back and you heal that part of you. And so literally, if you were, the stories that I could tell you, let's talk about Xanax. You know what Xanax is?
Yeah.
How many women are on Xanax?
Yeah.
Everybody's on
Anti-dead
Xanax.
person.
Yeah. You have no business being on Xanax. No business whatsoever. Why are you on Xanax? Because there's a part of you inside that is disconnected, that is out of balance.
Yeah.
So you need something in the outside world to make you feel back in balance. But you have the power to rebalance yourself.
Yeah.
You have the power to self-actualize. You have the power to no longer need anything, any substance at all, ever again. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go on record to say that until you get to a space where you no longer need this, and you no longer need this, and no longer need this, you'll never know who you really are.
No.
Because you need it from the outside world.
Yeah.
And that's the scariest journey for us to take.
It is.
It's like, how powerful would I actually be if I no longer needed anything outside of me, even a relationship?
Yeah.
How powerful would I actually be? Let me tell you, you would be the rarest diamond on earth, because there's less than 3% of human beings that ever reach that level. But every single human being on earth can.
Yeah. It's really interesting what you're sharing, because that is truly finding your own way, I think, as well. And it's really tough. I remember I was maybe 22 and I was in that relationship, and I was in a really heavy period with myself, dealing with anxiety and depression. So I had this summer when I went to a doctor to help me to calm down the nervous system and, get rid of the anxiety. And he wanted to prescribe me pills.
Of course.
And he did.
Do you know why, by the way?
Yeah.
Because they don't know what's actually going on with you.
Right.
That's it.
He just wanted to calm my mind for the moment.
That's it.
So I came home with this pack of pills, and I was like, this voice inside of me kept on saying, like, don't take them, take control. And I'm honestly really happy that I listened, because that summer was the starting point of starting to ask these really uncomfortable questions.
That's right.
Looking myself in the mirror saying, why do I attract this man? Why do I keep on doing this to myself?
That's right. That's right.
Not with what kind of behavior, like what you're describing. He was that kind of man, like always looking outside of himself.
That's right.
On other women. So I kept on going back to myself and saying, why doesn't he only look at me? Instead of saying, I'm not tolerating this. I'm going to step into my power.
But you know what you just did? You went from victim to creator.
Yeah.
You went from victim to victor. Because I'll tell you, one of the things that women deal with.
Yeah.
And I say this because in many ways I dealt with it too.
Yeah.
And I want to help you get to a place that you can't even fathom. Your mind cannot even fathom living life in such power.
Yeah.
But it's available to you.
Yeah.
What most women do is, in a case like this, they put all the blame on the man.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's what the victim does. And the easiest thing is to name that blame and call the man a narcissist.
Yeah.
By the way,
it's a trendy word.
Tell me something.
Yeah.
You feel my energy right now, right? I don't know. You've been around me. Do you think I'm a narcissist?
No.
But someone on earth thinks I'm a narcissist.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know why?
No.
Because it's much easier for them to think that I'm a narcissist than for them to look inside of themselves to ask themselves, what did I do to create this situation?
Yeah.
You don't want to do that because that would cause too much pain.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Or why not just saying to yourself, like, he's doing his thing and I'm doing my thing?
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
It's a possibility. But when we blame, what we're actually doing is we are projecting and deflecting the thing that we don't want to feel.
Yeah.
So it's much easier to blame the individual. In this case, it's much easier to blame the man and call him a narcissist.
Yeah.
Really, let me ask you a question. What the hell was going on inside of you that sat in the presence of a narcissist for more than 20 seconds where you didn't have the courage to go, time out, this is not for me?
Yeah, I'm leaving. Yeah. It's true.
So who's to blame then?
Yeah.
Who's to blame? Is it him?
Yeah.
Could be. Yeah, absolutely. Right? Because no man should ever be that way to a woman, right? But could it also be you?
Yeah.
Because there was a part of you that attracted it, allowed it, and stayed in it. When everything in your intuition told you,
no,
this doesn't feel right.
That's so powerful when you start to listen to your body, because it's always going to tell you, like, if it's a warning system saying, no, this,
right.
But why don't we listen to it? We numb ourselves, or we don't dare to take the leap and listen to whatever happens.
Well, you know why we don't listen in relationships? Because we're afraid to be alone.
Yeah, of course. So how did you take that step, like leaving your past and then starting, or continuing your healing journey?
The first thing I had to do was I had to, because I think that this is another thing that people in relationships make a mistake in, is that, like, when they're breaking up with an ex, it's like they keep going back and forth and they like keep having sex and they keep it.
Yeah.
This is over.
Okay.
Regardless of the pain, regardless of, once I knew in my heart, this was the honest truth. Once I knew in my heart and I looked back for 13 years, because the victim in me was like, oh, but I was never in love. I was never in love. Okay, stop being so selfish for a second. And if you are honestly have never been in love, then that means you could never and never have given the love that she deserves.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you can honestly say that you can never give her the love that she actually deserves, then what is the most loving thing that you could do is to let her go so she could go find it. The most selfish thing that you can do is to try to hold on to her. That's your ego, and that is not love. And so that's what I had to do. Even when, in this case, like she wanted to stay and whatever, and I had 3 beautiful boys.
Yeah.
I knew that someday they would understand. Right now they won't. No. Still to this day, they no. But someday when they're 25, 26, 27, they're going to look back and they go, I understand.
And you can talk about it as well.
Yeah. And someday she will as well, if she hasn't already, But the most loving thing that I can do as a man is to only select to be with a woman that I know I can fully love with all of my heart. And if I can't do that, I will never open her mind, her heart, or her body to me.
Beautiful.
Because that's being abusive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, for a real man, that's something he just doesn't do. Man. So I knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I was willing, and I went on the journey because I knew what I wanted. First, if you here, I'm going to give you more. if you can't know what you want if you don't know who you are.
Yes.
If you don't know who you are, then you can never understand what it is that you want in a partner.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who it is that you are in yourself.
Right.
So what I did was I got into a space where I fully went into the discovery of who I was. And you know who I found? I found one of the most incredible men on planet Earth.
Yeah.
I found one of the rarest men on planet Earth. And you might be listening thinking, my God, that guy has an ego. No, that's how you should feel about yourself too.
Yeah.
You have to see yourself as one of the rarest, most beautiful, most unique gems on the planet.
Yes. Yes.
And then when you're in that space, guess what? You're not going to go sleep around with anybody.
No.
Why? You're rare. You're valuable. Why would you give that to anybody?
Yeah.
And instead, what you're going to do is you're going to go, man, I'm finally at a place where I love and value and see myself. Okay, from this space, I know what I want now.
Yeah.
I want someone just as valuable. I want someone just as rare. I want someone just as beautiful. Because if you could learn to honor yourself like that, well, then guess what? Now you can learn to honor your partner like that.
And I think it's so cool because I often guide women of being more playful and being more open and trying things, because it can start with what kind of ice cream do you like? Do you want chocolate, vanilla, or both? Do you want to mix it? And keep on having that inner dialogue, you know?
That's right.
To keep on interacting, to spending time with yourself, because we don't do that anymore. We don't date ourselves. We don't go out and travel by ourselves. So we find distractions all around. But we are not listening within and hanging out with ourselves and exploring ourselves. And I think that's so important if you want to attract later on a partner that is the perfect match.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's so interesting. I fell in love with Jen. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
The first picture I saw on Instagram.
Really? What was it that was attracting you to?
I'm telling you, if you go, I'm telling you, it's like, how do I explain it to you? I always used to say to myself, I want someone who looks like a supermodel, but doesn't know that she looks like a supermodel. And you know what I was saying without saying it? I want someone that is beautiful, but that is so beautiful on the inside that she doesn't care that she's beautiful on the outside.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that picture, you could see it in her eyes. You could see she didn't care what you thought of her.
Yeah.
She didn't need your attention, your validation. She didn't need your approval. She didn't need you at all. She was just being her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I know this sounds crazy, but I saw all of that in a picture. Wow. So many people complain about social media.
Yeah.
Social media is ruining the world.
Superficial.
But if you want to be honest,
It's energy.
social media tells you everything you need to know about a human being.
Yeah.
Right?
It does.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Where is their energy?
Yeah.
Where is their value?
Yeah.
How do they see themselves? Do they need your constant approval, attention, and validation? So when I was single, I would literally be I'd be swiping and I'd be like, I don't want to be with her. What am I going to be, a full-time photographer? I don't want to be a full-time photographer. You really need to take that many pictures of yourself.
Yeah.
What is this going to look like when we're on a date together? Yeah. Oh, baby, could you? No, fuck that. I'm not going to do
Not
that.
enjoying the dinner.
No, I want to be present.
Looking in the
Exactly.
eyes. Yeah.
I want to be present. I want to be here in life.
Yeah.
I don't want to be
Showing off.
No. Why would I give or waste my energy with someone who is constantly showing the world that she needs to waste her energy to get their outside approval? But you can only spot that like I did because I used to be that.
Yeah.
And when you used to be that, guess what you no longer want? You no longer want that.
So how did you come to that place of being able to see? Because I think that a lot of people listening to this podcast maybe are single, searching for the one, and so on. So how did you come to that place of really seeing her for everything she is?
Yeah, I'll tell you, is you stop searching for the one outside of you.
Yeah.
And you start searching for the one inside of you. Yeah. I know the words that I speak resonate as truth. But I also know that the words that I speak challenge you in your deepest fears. Because on one end, yeah, you want someone to love you for who you are. But on the other end, your whole life right now has been built based off of what you do, what you look like, and what you wear.
Yeah.
Right? That's the journey. The journey is what are you going to listen to? And what do you have the courage to do? And what do you have the courage to let go of?
Yeah.
Do you really want to find true love? Do you really want to find peace? Do you really want to build a beautiful life and a beautiful career that is not filled with stress and anxiety like everyone else on this planet? Then what are you willing to let go of? Are you willing to go on a journey to ask yourself, why do I need the purse, the car, the watch, the vape, the alcohol, the partner, the sex? Why do I need all of that?
Yeah.
Right? What is wrong with me just being with me? Because when you could find the one inside of you, guess what? Everything you've ever looked for out here, you'll realize has been in here the whole time.
Yeah.
And when you can find and identify and love the one inside of you, then and only then will you ever be able to find, identify, and love the one out there. And I'm telling you right now, some people come back to this life 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 times, and they never learn that thing. That what they've been looking for, it's not out there, it's in here.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the spirituality part because I know you like that.
Okay.
When you did that ceremony, what happened inside of you? And what I'm mostly curious about, like when you left the church, how did you find the spirituality, or how did spirituality find you?
Yeah. So what happened to me was, part of being in a religion, in this case, like Christianity, right, is that you have a set of beliefs.
Yeah.
But then also you have a set of things that you defend against. And what the religion does to you is it tells you, you have to believe this, but you also have to fight against this.
Yeah.
This is bad and this is good.
Yeah. The polarization.
And what started happening inside of me was 2 things. Number 1, I don't know if these things that I'm being told to believe make sense to me anymore. Like there was a part of me that that saw some holes in what I was being told to believe.
Yeah.
And number 2, the things that I was told are bad. Astrology, ayahuasca, mushrooms, crystals. I'm looking out there and going, you know what? Those freaking people seem like they're pretty free and they're always happy and shit. So something's not right here.
Yep.
So what happened is that when my mom died, I took a look at who I was and I wanted to know the truth about God.
Yeah.
I no longer wanted someone else to tell me what to believe. I wanted to find the truth for myself. If ayahuasca and mushrooms and crystals are bad, no problem. But let me go discover that for myself. And what I found was this was everything that my soul had been asking me for the entire time. When I was over here, I never ever heard God's voice. Over here, it was like a portal into the spiritual world.
Wow.
And you see, you feel, you heal everything. And that's the truth that I discovered once I had the courage to discover it on my own.
And we were talking about the father and the mother wound as well. And when we're talking about spirituality, how do you look at how we are traveling with our ancestors' wounds? Because I think that's really
I mean, it's you know, at some point in time, someone in the lineage is the one that starts to heal.
yeah,
In my lineage, it was me.
yeah,
And in your lineage, it could be you.
yeah,
All it takes is courage.
yeah,
You know, courage to go and to, you know, maybe you're listening to this podcast and you think like, man, this ayahuasca stuff, I keep seeing it everywhere.
Right.
You know, go to reunionexperience.org. Those are my friends over there.
Yeah.
They'll take really good care of you. You could even just message them and ask questions, you know.
and it's a nonprofit.
It's a nonprofit. Yeah. It's beautiful. Or you say, you know what, maybe I do need to go to this awaken thing, because what we do at awaken is we combine meditation, breath work with, like, I'm sure you could feel it. Like when I say things, it starts to go, like things start to like click, right? So it's a beautiful combination of all three of those that you change your life. It's
beautiful.
But the spiritual work that we do there is so deep, because picture this, like if your listeners are listening right now, there has to be at least 2 or 3 things that I said that, oh, he's talking to me, right?
Yeah.
Imagine doing that for 3 days.
Yeah.
And then for 3 days in a row, having a deep, profound spiritual experience where for an hour you leave here and you go up there and you meet your ancestors and you meet your parents, and if they're gone, and it's wild.
You need to be on a vacation after that.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. Do you believe in past lives?
No, I don't believe. I know.
Yeah. Have you experienced it or seen anything?
Yeah, it's, you know, I have been in enough journeys.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's journey is unique to what it is that they need to experience.
Yeah.
So I've been in enough journeys where people literally say, I saw when I was a cat, I saw when I was a dog, I saw when I was, you know, this and I was that. I'll tell you a story real fast. Jen and I are about to fall in love. I'm already in love. But she was fighting it. Yeah. We go into this jewelry store in Sweden, not in Sweden, in Switzerland. When we were here in Italy, it was about a year ago. We go into this jewelry store and we both are walking around and we both meet at this ring. And it was like, we saw this ring and we both just stood there. I am telling you right now, it was like a portal or something happened.
Wow.
Where I was in a room of gold and jewelry and she was the queen and I was like adorning her with jewelry. And like, I woke up and I was like, what the fuck was that? Like literally.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you want to hear the whole story, go to our podcast, Finding the One.
Yeah.
Because
you're talking about it there. Yeah.
I'm going to be talking about it there. But let me tell you, afterwards, I talked to my psychic and he said, yeah, you know what happened is you went in a portal back in time where you were once a king and she was your queen. And I'm telling you, I felt that. And those are the types of experiences that are available for everybody.
Yeah.
Same with when they told me I was going to have my daughter. I have proof. There's 30 people that were in my house that day at that ceremony where I was talking around 2.5 years before the baby was born.
Really?
I'm going to have a little girl. I'm going to have a little girl. Oh my God, I'm going to have a little girl. I was going crazy. Guys, I'm going to be a dad again. And people were like, sure enough, when Jen got pregnant, it's a girl.
You knew.
How do you know? Well, I didn't. I had already told her. Because in our spiritual journeys, we felt the energy of a little girl that was wanting to come.
Waiting.
And when she did ayahuasca, she says that she looked down and there was a little girl on her breast. So we knew it was going to be.
Did you do it together? The ayahuasca?
No. We have, it's interesting. We haven't yet sat in ceremony together, which I think is perfect.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Because
you already know each other.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing about the past lives.
Yeah.
It's really cool and powerful when you meet people in your life. When I started to get like downloads, I think it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When you meet people and you're like, what the fuck? Am I imagining this? Or
No.
you see and you experience.
Right.
And then you can't share it always.
See what I did? I went, because this is it. Literally, you see it and you feel it. It's
And then when someone else, I do a lot of Akashic record reading.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and then I always experience like past life stuff.
Ah, beautiful.
And it's so amazing. And it also reminds me of my journey here. Like, why am I thinking like this? Why am I behaving like this? Why do I have the wounds I have now?
That's right.
Because I'm here and I chose this life
That's right.
to tie the knots and
That's right.
just, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. It's powerful.
Yeah. You got to come to Awaken.
I want to. I really want to. And
Come to Austin. You'll love it.
Austin.
Okay. You'll love it.
Not Palm Springs, the one you're having in the desert. Yeah. Cool. I'm so honored that you wanted to come and sit with me and
thank you.
share your experiences and working for the same mission of guiding people and just loving themselves, you know.
Yeah.
One last thing.
Sure.
What is the first thing they can do if they want to start just opening up and start listening within?
Go for a walk. Go to a park or to an ocean or to nature.
Yeah.
Go deep into it where there's no human beings anywhere around. Take off your shoes, sit on the earth, close your eyes, and just sit in stillness for 30 minutes. Watch what happens.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if they want to listen to you, where can they find you? We're going to tag everything. Right?
Danny Morel on Instagram or our podcast. We have two. It's The Higher Self.
Yeah.
And then the relationship one is Finding the One.
Okay. So next time I'm going to invite Jen as well.
Oh, she would like
for a talk.
Yeah. Yeah, she'd love to.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Wow. Jag hoppas att den här intervjun, det här samtalet, det rörde dig lika mycket som det gjorde mig. Och att det faktiskt fick dig till att våga tro mer på dig själv, lyssna inåt. Och våga ta det där steget. Om du hör den där rösten viska inom dig, lyssna på den. Lyssna på din inre kompass, för att den är där för att säga dig någonting. Jag är så glad att du ville lyssna och kolla på det här avsnittet av Coffee and Confidence podcast. Dela dina tankar och åsikter, dina takeaways. Vad tyckte du var mest värdefullt från det här avsnittet? Glöm inte att prenumerera på Coffee and Confidence podcast så att du inte missar fler spännande avsnitt med andra häftiga och inspirerande gäster som kan dela med sig av sina livsresor och sina expertiser som kanske hjälper dig på vägen mot att finna din egen väg. Känner du att det skaver inom dig? Det finns någonting inom dig som säger att jag önskar någonting annat. Jag önskar någonting större. Jag vill skapa någonting för mig. Jag är redo att gå min egen väg och följa mina drömmar. Ladda ner Her app som är min coaching-app där du kan lyssna till dagliga coachingsamtal. Du kan gå alla mina program. Hur du träder in i energin till att vara dig själv fullt ut. Att tro på dig själv. Att finna mod. Att gå din egen väg och följa dina drömmar. Prova din 7-dagars gratisperiod nu genom att ladda ner Her app via länken här nedan. Så startar du din resa till att finna din egen väg. Ska jag köra?
By the way, can I get this recording?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, because I got like 20 clips here. This is good shit.